Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I'm excited to talk to you about Overwatch's new competitive mode. This came out on Tuesday. Gamers have been waiting for it for a long time, and it's really the last hurdle that Blizzard needs to jump over in order to get this game ready for the prime time, ready for competition, and allow players to really progress up through the ranking and matchmaking system to see where they stand on a global scale. This is really the proving grounds for Overwatch, and it's going to sort of make or break the game. This is where you're going to see all the cheese, all the crazy meta strategies, everything and anything players can do to win, because not only is there sort of notoriety in it, becoming some of the top players, but there's also some pretty cool cosmetic stuff that you can get if you win enough matches in competitive mode. Also, if you get to be one of the top 500 ranked players during the competitive season, you'll get a custom animated spray that nobody else gets. You'll have the opportunity to get new unique sprays and items each season, and if you don't get those items during the play season, then you won't have another opportunity to unlock them. So there's just some cool cosmetic stuff that kind of proves that you've been playing Overwatch competitively for a while, and if you miss a season, then you're going to miss out on that stuff. Each season seems like it's going to last about a month. The first season is going to last a little bit longer just because of the timing in which it was first initiated, and also I think they're going to use some of this time to try and make some of the final tweaks to the balance of competitive mode, because there are some problems with it, and I'm starting to see what players were complaining about in the test environment, where they're saying like the game modes weren't really balanced properly, or it led to a lot of sort of upset victories, and we certainly experienced a bit of that. One of the weirdest things I found with competitive play, oddly enough, was the inconsistency. Match times could last anywhere from under 10 minutes to up to an hour, which is insane. Luckily, we didn't get any hour-long matches, which would have just been an absolute killer. But some people claim that they played an hour match. We played half an hour matches, which is pretty damn long for the most part, considering that you have to play 10 matches just to be ranked to qualify in that season. That's a pretty tall order. I mean, if it's 30 minutes, playing 10 matches is going to take you 5 hours. And when it was all said and done, it took us a good 4 hours to complete our 10 placement matches. Now, provided that you had an amazing team and you managed to just steamroll your way through it, you could probably do it in a little bit less time. But if Blizzard's matchmaking is working well, then they're going to put you up against players of equal skill, so chances are there's going to be a lot of sudden deaths in close games. Although, speaking to the actual matchmaking, the very first game that we played, we went up against a team that had a collective rank of 869. That means the average player's rank was 144 on the enemy team, meaning there was actually a guy that was like rank 214 over there. It was absolutely insane. We were going up against people that had hundreds of hours in the game, where not a single one of us had over 100 hours, or really for that matter, like over 40 or 50. Our collective rank was 59, so like less than half of their average rank. We got absolutely steamrolled and wrecked, and I'm certainly never one to shy away from a challenge, but as far as matchmaking goes, if it's supposed to be pitting you against players of equal skill or equal playtime, that certainly was not an equal matchup. Now, how about these game modes and the overtime and sudden death mechanics that a lot of the community seems to be pretty upset about, and I can see why. Blizzard obviously had to create a tiebreaker system for competitive play, and with Assault game mode, it's very weird, because in Assault, you can have maps that are designed that really do favor offense or favor the defense, and regardless of two teams having a different level of skill, sometimes they're both able to complete the task at hand, given the massive amount of time that they're allowed to complete it in. So if you have to assault 2 points and capture both those points, one team might do it in, say, 4 minutes, where the other team does it in 8 minutes. But both of those teams are going to get the exact same amount of points, and then it's going to put you into a tiebreaker round, even though one team was clearly performing a lot better than the other team. A simple analogy would be watching a race and giving both the drivers who cross the finish line each a single point, regardless of who crossed the finish line first, and then saying, okay, let's go into a tiebreaker round, when it's pretty clear that one driver, or one team in this case, is superior to the other. But then things get a bit complicated, and in the tiebreaker round for Assault, you can actually come out with another tie, and then there's sort of a sudden death round in which one team assaults, and if they get the first first point, then they automatically win, and the other team doesn't have an opportunity to sort of assault back. So it's kind of a weird tie-breaking situation, and we got cheesed on this one where we were performing incredibly well the whole time, beating out the other team in terms of the amount of time it took us to capture the points just handedly, but then they got put on the assaulting side and they're able to capture their one objective, and we weren't able to respond because that was the sudden death round, and it really screwed us over and kind of left a bad taste in our mouths afterwards. And before I get too inundated in critiquing the competitive game modes, I do know that Blizzard is working on this and that this is not necessarily the final version of competitive play and what it's going to be. I just hope they come up with a game mode that is not only intuitive but also a bit shorter. You know, I think that's what I like so much about casual play, is that you can get a match in 10 to 15 minutes and be pretty happy about it. 20 minutes if it's like a really long drawn out match. But it would just be nice if that was sort of a guaranteed in competitive play, where you're not getting these 30, 40, even 60-minute long matches that some people are talking about getting. It would just be nice to have at least a better idea of how much game time you're signing yourself up for when you get into a competitive match. Because what I like about playing games like, say, Hearthstone is I know I can spare like 10 to 15 minutes to get a match in there, you know, 15 minutes being sort of on the longer side of things, 20 if you're like playing a really crazy long drawn out game. But for the most part, I can really predict how much time I'm going to need to play a game of Hearthstone, where in Overwatch competitive play, it could be 10 minutes, it could be an hour. And that's just too big of a window, I think, for this game to have. I think it has to have a much smaller window. I'd say like 10 to 20 minutes, and you should call it good at that. 25 minutes if things get absolutely insane. And I think that would be a good format for even watching it on an esports level. If you want the tournament to go longer, you add more matches rather than making the games more unpredictable. Because imagine if you had an esports tournament that was like 7 games long and each of those games went for an hour. That would be absolutely insane. So you wouldn't be able to complete that in a day. So they need to sort of standardize the length of the game mode so that they can actually make tournaments that are a little bit more predictable in terms of how long it's going to take to name someone the victor. Anyway, based on what Blizzard said about it, it sounds like they're kind of on the right track, and they know what people's concerns are, and they're working towards a better balanced competitive game mode. Now, if you're enjoying Overwatch, but you're not really that interested in competitive mode, well, there's a few cosmetic items that might actually pique your interest. Now, there's some weapon skins that have been added to the game. Weapon skins were not previously in the game, and currently there's only one weapon skin right now for each gun in the game, and that is the golden gun skin. And the only way to get this at the moment is by playing the competitive game mode. Each win you get will give you 1 competitive game mode point, and you can use those points to save up for a golden gun skin. It takes 300 points to buy a single golden gun skin, and there's 21 characters in the game. So you can imagine it'd take an insane amount of time to get all the golden gun skins. Most people are probably just going to focus on 1 or 2 characters at maximum, but even then, getting 300 wins in competitive mode just to get 1 gun skin is a huge ordeal. I mean, that's going to take a long time. So if you see somebody with the golden gun skin, just know that they have played a shitload of Overwatch. Personally, I'd love to get the Soldier 76 golden assault rifle, or maybe Farah's golden rocket launcher, since I play those 2 characters. Also, something to note for competitive play, it definitely helps to have a couple of characters that you're pretty comfortable with, because you're going to need to switch around your team comp. You can't just play whatever character you want regardless and expect your team to build around you, especially if you're playing casual and not with friends, so you don't have like a set team comp. This is a game mode that's going to require you to adapt, and we ended up losing a lot of rounds because we had a great solid defense or something like that. We knew what was going on, and all of a sudden the enemy team changed their comp up significantly and was able to overthrow us and basically get the upper hand, and we couldn't adapt quick enough or switch our characters around quick enough. So it's not just about your twitch aim or your amazing skill with one character. If that's not working out given the enemy team's strategy, then you're absolutely going to have to change it up at the end there. and that's something that's fun. I know I'm not that great at it myself, but I look forward to the challenge of getting better. Anyway, I'm pumped to play more competitive Overwatch. I really look forward to watching some of the tournaments and the crazy strategies that come out of this. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.